Hey everyone, this is the Radko Tutor here explaining. In this video, we are going to look at how to research any chapter 2 of a research proposal or a research report. So in this case, we are going to look at, we are looking at how to research. How to research. All right, so how to research. So it has come to my attention that a lot of students nowadays are using ChatGPT to write their assignments, to write their research, their proposals, and so on and so forth. Of which, when you write your research with ChatGPT or any AI tool, your research can easily be notified or seen that it has been written by ChatGPT or by an AI tool. So this is the reason why I've created this video, to make sure that I teach you on how you are supposed to research using other platforms or other websites, rather than using or depending entirely on ChatGPT. All right, so when you use ChatGPT, the language which is used and everything which is used there, it is actually easily seen that you are using ChatGPT or you are using AI, because there are certain terms and the tonation of the words, you can easily see that the work has been done by ChatGPT or by AI. So what we are going to do in this video is to make sure that we explain fully on how to research using other websites rather than depending entirely on ChatGPT. All right, of course, whenever you're writing any research, you as a student, you're supposed to be a researcher. And no wonder it is called a research, because it is there for you to research and come up with, concrete information about what you are researching. So you don't need to depend on ChatGPT or AI tools in order for you to write your assignment, to write your research, or to write your proposal. But you need to know on how to research, so that whenever you are given this work, you are able to get this information by yourself, and you are able to, bring it on board and be able to explain it accordingly. Having laid that preamble, allow me to go into details and explain how you are supposed to research in any proposal writing or in any research writing. All right, so now what you need to do is that in this case, mainly we are looking at chapter 2 of the research proposal. So we are looking at chapter 2, and chapter 2, remember, how did we talk about, or what did we talk about on chapter 2? So on chapter 2, we said that chapter 2 is written in line with your objectives. So the objectives that you are writing are the ones that are involved on chapter 2. So if, for instance, in this case, I'm looking at the reasons as to why learners, or factors that lead to high failure rate among grade 12 learners at secondary schools. So for instance, let's say you formulated the objectives, and the objectives are, you have these objectives, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. So we have 4 objectives, and our first objective is to determine the influence of cultural background on learners' performance in additional mathematics. All right? So we are trying to look at, are learners failing mathematics because of their background or their cultural background? Or maybe they're just failing it because they are just maybe dull, or maybe because of other reasons. All right? So we go to the second objective, which is to investigate how teacher-learner relationship affect learners' performance. So we're trying to investigate whether learners are failing because the relationship between the teacher and the learners is very, very bad. Right? Because some learners, they fail certain subjects because maybe they are not in good terms with the teacher. So we are trying to investigate that. All right. So also, the other objective is to describe the nature of the school environment where teaching is practiced. So we are trying to look at the teaching environment, okay? Because sometimes you find that the teaching environment is not conducive for the learners, and therefore these learners tend to fail, that particular subject, because you'd find that maybe, the way the environment is, certain learners are allergic to such environments, and you'd find that they tend to not to concentrate with that particular subject, and then they end up failing at the end of the day. All right. So these are some of the objectives that I've come up with. So I'm trying to look at factors that lead to, that is my research topic. So my research topic is trying to look at factors that lead to, high failure rate at grade 12, okay, in mathematics. So now after you've come up with the objective, remember literature review is written in line with your objectives. So you have your 4 objectives, and we said that when writing literature review, never should you write it incognito, meaning that never should you write it without acknowledging anyone. So you should write it in such a manner that you are bringing other scholars that have written on the same topic or same objectives that you are writing before you. So if you're writing on this objective where you're looking at why learners fail mathematics or factors leading to high failure rate in mathematics at grade 12 level, we are saying that you are not the first one writing this topic or on this topic. So what are you supposed to do then? What you're supposed to do is simply to acknowledge or mention these other scholars that have talked about the same objectives that you are writing. In other words, I'm saying that chapter 2 is written in line with your objective. So if you get to objective 1, try to state other scholars that have written on the same objective that you are writing. So for instance, you get objective 1, which is looking at the cultural background. What do? You state scholars starting from global level, continental level, country level, and then narrow it down to the area of the study. So once you do that, then you are writing your literature review, which is chapter 2, in line with your objectives. So you do it in that order. So you start with global level, state or cite authors that have written on them on objective at global level, then come to continental level, country level, and then narrow it down to the area of the study. So once you do this, then you are writing what we call as the literature review, okay? Or you are acknowledging other authors that have written on the same topic or same objectives before you. After you've done that, you go to another objective again. So you even write the title will be investigating how the teacher-learner relationship affect learner's performance. So you do that as your topic or subtopic, and then or subtitle rather, and then you now mention also scholars at the global level, continental level, country level, and narrow it down to the area of the study. Once you do that, meaning that you are citing scholars that have written on the same or similar objectives that you are writing. Okay, so in other words, you are writing their findings, what they founded when they were conducting on, when they were studying about the same topic that you are also doing. So you do that for all the objectives. So you do for objective 1, objective 2, objective 3. Now, what I'm trying to put or to bring on board here is that, remember, we are writing these objectives, and we are saying that we are citing scholars that have written on the same objectives or same topic you are writing. Now, the question is, where should you find these scholars, or how do you find these scholars that, okay, this is a scholar that talked about the same objective, which is the cultural background that I'm also discussing, or that I'm also looking at. So now we are saying that we are avoiding using ChatGPT, and whenever you use ChatGPT, your work is easily noticeable that you are using ChatGPT or AI. So we are avoiding using ChatGPT, and we are trying by all means to make sure that we understand properly on how to go about this. Now, this is very, very precedent that we know how to research when it comes to writing the literature review, which is sometimes called the review of related literature. Having said that, allow me to show you how we research. So whenever you are researching, we use what we call as Google Scholar. So we use what we call as Google Scholar. So Google Scholar is the one that we use to research. All right. So we use Google Scholar. Now the Google Scholar is very, very important when researching your work. Why? Because whenever you're using Google Scholar, you need to make sure that the work which is on Google Scholar, it is done by people, not by ChatGPT. So you are going to find that when you get that information put in your research is going to sound human, 100% human, and not AI generated concepts. So having said that, we are going to use the same objectives and see how we can search them on Google Scholar so that we get authors that have cited on the same objective at global level, continental level, country level, and then narrow it down to the area of the study. All right, so that's what we are trying to look at. Now, allow me to do this. So I'll go on Google Scholar. So I'll go on Google Scholar. So I'll come here on Google Scholar. This is my Google. I come here, Google Scholar. So this is my Google Scholar. I'll go on Chrome first. After going on Chrome, allow me to do this. After going on Chrome, you have the search engine. If remember, this is our search engine. So on our search engine, we write www. So you write here, you come, you say www. So you say www, you write there, you say www.googlescholar.com. So you write like that. So www.googlescholar.com, then you search. All right, so you click there. After searching, there's this website which is brought here. So there's this website which is written Google Scholar. So you just go on the Google Scholar there. After you go on the Google Scholar, what you're supposed to do is that they will bring for you the search engine under Google Scholar. So if our objective, if our research topic is looking at let me take for instance, if your objective or your objective here. So if you're looking at factors reading to high failure rate, imagine if that was our first objective, which is factors leading to high failure rate at grade 12. So what do? You come, you just write factors leading to high failure rate at grade 12. So you write it like that. So when you write it like that, they will bring you scholars. So these are the scholars that have written on the same. So there are a lot of scholars. You've seen there are a lot of them. If you want, you can even go on page 2, page 3. If you want, you can go on page 2 here, page 3, page 4, like that. Okay, so if you want page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, just like that. A lot of pages are being given down here. So now if you want, I'm just on page 1 there, so I want to use page 1. So all these scholars have written on the same. So for instance, I've searched on factors leading to high failure rate at grade 12. So if maybe that is one of our objectives, which is investigating the factors leading to high failure rate at grade 12, what we're supposed to do is that you put it there. And then now, all these scholars that have come here, all these scholars here are just explaining on factors, or they are the same scholars who wrote on the same report that you're also writing, which is factors leading to high failure rate at grade 12 in mathematics. Now, what then do you do is that if you open one of the PDFs, you've seen they have come in PDFs, all these. So if you open one of them, you are going to find that if I open the first one like this, if I open the first one, you are going to find that they bring me the topic that this person was conducting, which is an investigation into the failure rate in mathematics and science at grade 12 level. So you'd find that they have brought for me this abstract. So in any report, there will be an abstract. So an abstract, what is the importance of abstract? The importance of an abstract, it actually shows the, it summarizes, in other words, it summarizes your report. So the whole report that you've written, starting from your research topic, your objectives, your findings, your conclusions, your recommendations, are all summarized in an abstract. So that is the main aim of putting an abstract in research. So for instance, if you are to read this abstract for this person who, and by the way, have you seen that after the topic, have you seen that there is this person that they have mentioned there on top, meaning that this report was for who? It was for Francis Kafata, Dr. Sarah, and Dr. Sarah Mbetwa. So meaning that the whole report here is just for the two people. So if you are citing them, let's say for instance you are using there's what we call citation and paraphrasing. So if you are using paraphrasing, you just go on abstract and read what their findings were. So if you see here, you've seen, if I come here, you've seen where it's written the findings. So they're saying that the findings of the study, so this is what they found when they were conducting the factors that lead to high failure rate in mathematics. So I want you to start reading here. You've seen where they're saying the findings. So they're saying the findings of the study, meaning that those were the findings. So the findings of the study revealed that there was a high failure rate in mathematics than in science. Hence, it negatively affected the admission to the School of Engineering. So the study also demonstrated that mathematics and science skills and theories should actually be taught with due attention, that that they deserve for the School of Engineering to adequately tap talent from the grade 12 school leavers. Perhaps this could be the reason why the School of Engineering has not grown in Zambia. So you've seen, if you read the abstract, in other words, the abstract will be there to show you the topic, the objectives, the research questions, and the findings of that particular topic that the two people were conducting, or this person was conducting. So if you are paraphrasing, for instance, you read through the abstract and find out what these people founded when they were conducting the same research on the investigating into failure rate in mathematics, the factors that lead to high failure rate in mathematics, and then you write them like that. So if you are paraphrasing your work, you start by saying, you just write, you get all the whole information here. You are not writing as exact words as they have written them here, but you are trying to bring in your own words to just write it in a different manner. Okay, so you're writing it in different manner, and then at the end, that's when you bring this author. Now that's when you bring the author, which is Francis Sikafata and Dr. Sarah Mbetwa. Okay, so you bring them that, and then you put them in brackets. All right, so that's how you do it. That is when you are paraphrasing. Okay, and then if you are citing or quoting, what you do is you just write the exact words that you've seen here. So for instance, you say, according to Mufata 2020 stated that. So if you're starting with that, according to, meaning that you are quoting or citing rather, so meaning that you are getting the exact information which is that you've actually found on the abstract here. So you are citing them exactly. So what do? You just copy here exactly from there. You copy and go paste in your research. That is when you are quoting or citing, meaning that you are getting the exact words that the particular scholar mentioned or cited or talked about, or the findings that that particular scholar founded. That is citing. If it is paraphrasing, you get the same information, but you are rewriting it in your own words. So you do that. So that is, you've gotten one scholar. So meaning that maybe this will be just in one paragraph. Again, if you want to get another scholar, you also go and do the same. You go, remember we first picked the first one. You can also go and pick the other one. For instance, you go and pick the third one here. So I pick this one again so that we get another scholar and another paragraph. So you do the same again. You come, we've seen in any of the documents that you are going to open, you are going to find that there is an abstract. And the abstract will actually show you the findings of that particular topic that the certain scholar was conducting. Okay, so if you want to paraphrase, you need to write that information this information from the abstract in your own words, and then you put the scholar at the end of the paragraph. If you want to cite them or quote them direct, then you need to start by saying, maybe according to Mwale. So in this case, this report was for who? The author should be there. You've seen author, they have written here 2016. So it was written in 2016, and author Simuchimba Jacqueline. So you say, according to Simuchimba Jacqueline or Jacqueline 2016 stated that. If you want to cite direct, you now bring what the findings were. So that is what you do when you are researching. Now remember, we've said that when you're writing literature review, you should always make sure that you are writing it in such a manner that you start with citing scholars at global level, continental level, country level, and then narrow it down to the area of the study. Now, how do you know? Because this is from, for instance, this is an author which is published, who was from Zambia. Now, how do you know that this time now I'm getting authors from global level, this time I'm getting authors from continental level, and so on and so forth? So what you're supposed to do is that if you're writing at the global level, you come here on your search engine and say, factors leading to high failure rate at grade 12, factors leading to high failure rate at grade 12 in Zambia. You say in Zambia, like this. So if you say in Zambia, that means that all the scholars that will come, they will just write Zambia. So if you search there, you've seen all the scholars, if you see at the end of the search engine there, you've seen it, Zambia, 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 meaning that all these scholars that are coming, they will be from Zambia. If you are conducting for global level out of Africa, you just say maybe in China. So if you say in China, you add in China there, then you search again. You're going to find that all the scholars that are going to come here, they are going from China. You've seen China, 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 just like that. So it will be at China level, that is global level. If you say in India, you just say in India, all the scholars will come in India like that. And then you go, you paraphrase and cite. Your work will be purely human, not AI oriented or generated. So whenever you write using AI or any other, computer intelligence tool, that will be easily noticeable that you are actually using that. But whenever you're using Google Scholar, your work will not be easily noticeable. Okay, your work will be seen to be 100% human, and no one can easily detect it. Even the AI detectors cannot even detect it, because you are using your own words and the Google Scholar to make sure that you bring your work accordingly. All right. Now, sometimes whenever you are writing literature review, you should always make sure that you are writing it in 10 years, or let me put it to say, you should always write it within the previous 10 years. Okay. So meaning that if you're in 2025, you should only have scholars who have written on the same starting from 2015 to 2025. That is the standard. So meaning that if you're writing it in that particular order, that means you now need to indicate the year. How do you indicate the year? So when you come at your right hand side here, you've seen that they have written year. Here they have written year. So you go there and say, it's just unfortunate that I'm not using the computer, but if I'm using the computer, I'm using my tablet. So if I'm using the computer, or if I'm using the PC, it was going to show clearly. But when you're using okay, let me just show it from here. So what you do is you need to check the years, or the years in which you want your report to be. So if you want to say since 2021, you write since 2021. If you want authors just from 2024 2025, you write that. If you want if you were using the PC or the computer, they would have even shown us where you can write the range of years to put. If you want 2022 to 2025, you even write. But since I'm using a phone, which is a tablet, it's not bringing that option. Okay, so if I want authors starting from 2021, I'll come here to say since 2021, and then all the authors that will come here, they will be just from 2021 to date, like that. So basically, that's how you write the literature review, and that's how you research. So once you do that, your work will be purely human and not AI generated. All right. So this is how you do that. So once you write, you go in your writing, in your file, you write, and then you paraphrase, just like that. So that's how you get to research on the literature review. It becomes very easy if you know how to research and how to use this Google Scholar. Thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to like my Facebook page. Please invite more people to follow the page, so that more people can benefit from this knowledge. And all of us, we really need that academic freedom. Thank you so much. See you next time.